Hi everyone, and welcome back again to Queenette at DBC VODCAST. My name is Queenette at DBC, and today we are going to be talking about effective communication. What is effective communication? Effective communication is the way of communicating with someone effectively, either in a relationship or in a marriage or in your day-to-day life. Today I'm going to be focusing more on relationship and marriage, but that still doesn't mean you're not going to learn something from this video even when you're not married. So I'm going to beg you to please stay tuned to the end of this video, and also to all our viewers out there who are still yet to subscribe, please, all you have to do is just press on that subscription button below and the notification bell so you can always get notified anytime I post a video. I chose to talk about this topic because I realize effective communication is one of the problems of we Africans in our relationship and in our marriage. A lot of homes are broken today because of lack of communication. You know, there's difference between communication and effective communication. Communication is just when you communicate with people about your needs or to pass information, you know, or to share your thoughts and whatever you want to say. But effective communication is a way of you effectively like passing the information to someone, and that person is taking that information in. So it's, you might communicate with someone and that person might not take your communication might not be effective. It's not, when it comes to communication, to be honest, it's not just about what we say. It is about when we say it, how we say it, and how we say it. So it's in effective communication we are going to be talking about all of that. First of all, a man will say, oh, my woman is not listening to me, and a woman will say, my man is not listening to me. How are you guys communicating your needs? In a relationship where there is no effective communication, eventually both of you are still going to separate because both of you are going to feel invisible in that relationship. The man is going to feel invisible, thinking the woman is not listening to him, and eventually is going to be fed up of that relationship, while a woman also is going to feel invisible in that relationship because she's going to think that that man is not listening to her, because both of them don't know how to effectively communicate what their problems or what their issue is. And in this video I'm also going to be linking into effective problem solving, because in order to be able to solve a problem amicably in a relationship, both of you need to be able to communicate effectively. And one of the ways to communicate effectively is by talking. Yes, you need to be able to talk about what you want, about your needs, and about how you feel. I know growing up in Africa, majority of the time our parents didn't teach us this thing on how to express ourselves. I know a lot of people will grow up in a home whereby when you are talking or where you are in the midst of adults, they'll tell you to shut up as a child, that you cannot talk when adults are talking. Majority of the time we are being shut up, especially in Africans. A lot of people that come from African background are going to testify to what I'm saying. Even there are times whereby they will tell you, if an adult is talking to you, you are not meant to look at that person's face because it is rude. But coming to the European country, I realize that it is totally different. We can clearly see the difference between the European children, like children that are brought, that are giving birth to abroad or brought up abroad, compared to children that grew up in Africa. When it comes to their communication, the children that grew up abroad are a little bit more vocal. They can express themselves, they can express their feeling, they can say things that is in their mind. But the children that grew up from Africa are always a little bit more buckled up in their emotions, their words, their thoughts, because majority of the time our parents shut us up, and that has affected a lot of people in their marriage, which is why today we are going to be unboxing everything. And one thing I want you to understand at first is having an effective communication is not something that is easy. It is something that you are going to keep learning and you're going to train yourself to be able to do. So I don't want you to beat yourself up if you think that, oh my God, I don't know how to communicate effectively. It is okay, it is normal. Let us remember that we learn every single day. So it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still learn how to communicate effectively. And one of the best way to do it is learn how to speak up your mind. Let us always remember that the people we are dealing with, they are not witch or wizard. They don't know what is inside our mind. If you don't tell them how you feel about something, they are not going to know. And then how do you now pass the information across? There's a difference between you passing information to someone aggressively or defensively than you passing information to someone, calmly. to the person who passed the information aggressively or defensively, the other person might not receive that information. They would even see you as someone who has anger problem or someone who is always defensive, but they would not understand what you're going through. But when we sit people down as an adult and pass our information to them calmly, that way people tend to listen to us and try to reason from our own point of view. Let us remember, everybody have point of view. Like, we can be looking at the same thing and what we're going to see is totally going to be different. It still doesn't mean you are wrong or I am right, and it doesn't mean I am wrong or you are right. It's just a way of trying to understand people from their own perspective. That is where effective communication comes in. So as an adult, when you know you have things going on in your life and you want to communicate it with your spouse, your partner, your girlfriend, how do you communicate with it? Remember, in a relationship, it is two adults. It is not a child. The person you are talking to is not a child. Even the children we are giving birth to these days, we cannot shout at them, yell at them, and talk to them in a rude manner and expect them to listen. No, they'll become more stubborn and they'll become more rude, because the way we spoke to them is the way they are going to respond to us. We should try and understand that. So when it comes to effective communication, the number one way is learning how to pass your information. Yes, you need to learn how to pass your information like an adult. How do adults talk? You sit down. Babe, I need to talk to you. Sit down as an adult, face each other, look at each other eye to eye, and pass your information calmly. That way that person will be able to listen to whatever you have to say. And second way of passing an information effectively is by listening. Let us remember, when you both are talking about each other, nobody is going to listen to anything. Nobody is going to get anything. So in order for you to have an effective communication in your relationship, you need to learn how to talk, pass out your information calmly. You need to learn how to listen to the other person's point of view as well, and try to reason from that person's point of view. Yes, you've told me your problem, and now this is my own problem. Let us try and both see from our own point of view. It is not about who is wrong or who is right. It is about passing our information. For example, let's say my man did something I don't like, and the best way I can communicate with him calmly is by telling him, babe, this thing you did, I don't like it. And let us remember, in a relationship, when it comes to misunderstanding, there's always going to be misunderstanding. Yes, misunderstanding is inevitable in a relationship. You can't prevent it. It's something that would definitely happen. But arguments in a relationship can be prevented. You remember, it is a misunderstanding that leads to arguments. So when a misunderstanding happens, how you handle that misunderstanding is going to determine if it's going to lead to an argument. So you, as an adult, how do you handle your misunderstanding? Do you handle it in a very rough, rude, aggressive way that's going to lead to arguments? Or do you handle it calmly? It is always best to sit down when having a communication in a relationship and talk about it calmly. Remember, when you stand up and you're walking about or pacing around, that person can read meaning to your body language. But majority of the time, when you are seated calmly, like the way I am, you have less body movement and that person can listen to you. And remember to always talk with a calm voice as well. I know a lot of us that comes from African home, our voice is always hard naturally. That there are some places that I will talk that people will say, oh, you talk like you are hungry, or are you no, it's just our voice. We are passionate talkers. When we talk with emotions, we talk with feelings. So sometimes it looks like we are angry or upset when we are not. This is something I'm still learning. That's why I said, when it comes to communication effectively, oh my God, it is not something you will learn in a day. It is a gradual process, something you will learn every day, but it requires determination. Yes. And one thing about effective communication is you have to be open. Your ears have to be open to listen to the other person's point of view. Like, what is this person trying to say? Am I overreacting? In this life, in order for you to learn, you need to be willing to unlearn some certain things and relearn some certain things. Another way for you to have an effective communication is by reading the room, knowing the right time to communicate. Yes. For example, let's say you did something that I don't like, and I know you're going for a surgery, you are going to work, or you are going to somewhere important. that time is not the right time for me to communicate with you. I need to wait till maybe when my man is back from work and we can talk about it. I need to wait maybe when that thing you've gone to done is now successful, then I can sit you down and communicate with you. Let us know the right time to communicate. Don't try to communicate with people when they are hungry. Don't try to communicate with people when they have their big day ahead of them, things like exams, surgery, work, and things like that. Don't try to communicate with them on a misunderstanding when they have things like that, because they have a lot of emotions going on in their body, so you don't want to add to that. You trying to communicate with them on something that they did that you don't really like at that point in time can lead to arguments. So when it comes to effective communication, you need to be able to listen, you need to be able to read the room, know when it is the right time to talk, and you need to be able to say it calmly. Express your feelings calmly, not rudely, and then you are going to see changes in your relationship. And now let's now talk about conflict resolution. Now there's a misunderstanding in the home. How do we, solve the misunderstanding? Let us remember something. It is always good for us to prevent arguments if possible. But if the argument is unprevented, and what do you do to dissolve the situation at that moment? Number one of them is walk away from the argument. If you know the argument is getting really heated to the extent that you cannot control your emotions, please walk away. Walk away so you're going to prevent yourself from saying things that will hurt the other person. Walk away so you're going to prevent yourself from doing things that can be detrimental to yourself or the other person. Walk away from you acting rational. It is always good for you to walk away. But now you've walked away, what is the next thing? Remember, it is not just about walking away. It is about what you're doing after you've walked away. Remember, the situation is still there. The issue is still there. That argument is still there. That misunderstanding is still there. But you have to walk away first, because you need to calm yourself. You need to ease yourself of the tension that is going on. Now you've walked away. You've walked away for 2 hours or 3 hours. What do? Then you need to communicate. Communicate with the person you have that issue with. Remember, there's an heated argument down. You've walked away from it. That person is not only angry about the argument that is on ground. That person now is going to be panicking. Your man or your woman is going to be panicking because they don't know where you are. They don't know what, if anything, might have happened to you for you walking away out of anger. They are going to be worried about you. So you as a person, as a reasonable person, now needs to communicate with them either by phone call or by text that, hey babe, I am at so place, but I just need to walk away from the situation because I am upset and I don't want to do things that will make me more upset or that I will later regret. But I will be back home shortly. That way you've calmed the tension down with that person at home. So that way, even when you go back home or you go back to wherever you guys are staying, you are going to go back to a calm, more relaxed environment because you've communicated with that person. Now that person has been relieved that, okay, yes, he is fine. That person have realized that, okay, you know what, I need to calm down and we need to talk about this thing. This person is upset. That's why he walked away, or that's why she walked away. Now we need to talk about this thing. Always remember, when there's an argument, you need to communicate. Don't just walk away and thinking because I have walked away, that issue is sorted. That thing is still there. You still need to come back and solve that issue, because if you don't solve that issue, that thing is going to be there and is going to continue piling up and eventually is going to lead to resentment. And by the time there's another little thing, that person can explode. Both of you can explode because there's been a lot that has been piling up, a lot of unresolved issue, and it's gonna make things worse. Now you are back after 1 hour or after 2 hours. It is now time for you to tell your man or your woman that, babe, let us sit down and talk about this thing. This is something that you did that I don't like, and the person is also going to express themselves to you. Remember, it is about communicating effectively and calmly. So at that point in time, you've come back to that situation to sort it out. And remember, it is not about who is wrong. In effective communication, we are not trying to find out who is wrong. Nobody is wrong. everybody is wrong, everybody is right. So it is not about finding who is right or who is wrong. It is about both of you expressing yourself and sorting out the situation. Now I've expressed myself, you have expressed yourself. What is the way forward? This is the way forward. Okay, now the way forward has been identified. Have I said anything to hurt you? Did I react rational? Oh, I think I should have I should have talked calmly. It is about accountability, self-reflection. Now I realize that I reacted rational. I should have calmed down a little bit. Oh, now I realize that, oh, I was too forward, or I was a little bit sensitive at that point in time. I was, I wasn't patient enough. I should have been a little bit more patient. Both of you realize what you could have done better, and then you apologize to each other. I am sorry. I am sorry. And that's going to be the end of it. And then you move into another day. Remember, in effective communication, you don't bring up past issues. No. In order for you to have effective communication with your man or your woman, don't try and bring up past issues. That is why it is always good for you to sort those issues as soon as it is happening. Don't pile them up. When you pile issues up, then it escalates. And when it escalates, people tend to explode. And when they explode, they do things that they would regret later, or the whole situation becomes more messier, and then you guys won't be able to solve things out because you guys have been piling up things. So in effective communication, you sort things out as it happens. You guys talk about it and you resolve it. And now that issue have been resolved, you move on to the next one. If something happens again, remember, misunderstanding is normal in a relationship. You are definitely going to be having misunderstanding, but you can prevent arguments. So we are talking about ways of preventing arguments and ways of communicating effectively. About a week ago, a man was saying to me that, oh, my woman nags a lot and things like that. And I said to him, I said, as long as your woman is still communicating with you about the things that you do that she doesn't like, then she loves you. She likes you. She respects you as a man. That's why she's communicating with you, because she's trying to solve those issues as soon as they are happening without having to pile them up. So when a woman is still communicating their feelings or things you are doing to them that they don't like, then you should be lucky that, oh yes, this woman is communicating her things to me. This way I know what is pissing her off, and things that are not pissing her off, I will know how to work on myself. Also, as a woman, when a man is communicating their needs or things you are doing that is pissing them off, it is also good. It is about us listening to one another. What am I doing to you that is wrong, or what are you doing to me that is wrong? Talk about it, work towards it, and try not to make it happen again. And remember, people don't change immediately. Change takes process. It's a gradual thing. It's something that might take years, that might take months, that might, you guys just need to keep compromising and communicating. What makes a relationship works mostly is communication and taking accountability. Now, okay, yes, I used the toilet. I forgot to flush the toilet. I am sorry. Yeah, but sometimes the way we respond to people when we do something wrong can aggravate them. That's why we need to learn how to talk calmly, how to take accountability. When I know, okay, I was the one that does this thing, and this person is telling me what you did to me, I don't really like it, blah, blah, blah. There's no point me trying to justify my actions, because my actions still cause that person pain. So there's no reason for me to justify it. What I just need to say is, I am sorry for causing you that pain. I'm sorry that my action made you feel the way you felt. I am really sorry. That was not my intention. This was the situation. It's just like me opening the door. I'm opening the door. I don't know a child is at the door, and I open the door and eat the child with the door. It's not my intention to eat you with the door, but unfortunately, me opening the door still eats you and causes you pain. So it is not about me explaining myself. It is about me taking accountability. I am sorry for hurting you. I am sorry my actions hurt you at that point in time. I did not mean to. We need to learn to take accountability and express ourselves. I did not mean to do this. But me trying to justify myself that, oh, you shouldn't have stayed at the door. You shouldn't have stand there. I didn't know you were there. That's why I opened the door. It's not my fault, blah, blah, blah. We are going to aggravate the issue. We are going to make things difficult. You understand my point? I'm sure you guys are understanding. Yes, because I feel like we are, talking and communicating with each other. And I actually love it, to be honest. I love it being in this space and communicating with you guys. It feels like I can see you guys, even though I'm imagining you in my head. And I kind of love it. It feels so good. So that's the way it goes. For example, even me myself, I'm still work in progress. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to come here and sit in front of a camera and trying to form the Miss Perfect to you guys. Hell no. I'm not even anywhere near perfect. Seriously. For example, I got into an argument with my man, and that argument could have been prevented if I was a little bit more patient or calm with my my voice, my tone of voice. And it could have also been prevented if he was also a little bit more calm with me and with his tone of voice, his language. But sometimes argument happens. Even as much as we are talking about this effective communication, there are times that our emotions are going to take over us, like things like fear, things like anxiety, things like being overwhelmed. Things like that, our emotions sometimes can take over us and make us to be a little bit over the top, a little bit overreacting on something. So I think that was what happened, because my emotions, I allowed my emotion at that time to take over, and I spoke in a way where I didn't realize that it was a little bit harsh, like the way I asked the question I asked him at that time. And also, I don't know what was going on with him at that point, because he also overreacted based on the way he thought I asked the question, and he was a little bit pissed off, and we got into an argument. We said things we are not meant to say to each other, and after a couple of hours, I think he realized that, I think I messed up. I also realized that, I think I messed up. This situation could have been avoided if we've communicated it better. And we said to ourselves immediately, that shouldn't happen again. No matter what the situation might be, let us try not to lash out at each other again. At least I would say after over 3 years or so. And that's literally the first time we are actually physically lashing out at each other. And I feel so really, really disappointed in myself. And I'm sure he felt so bad about it as well. So it is not about the situation that happened. It is about how you deal with it. He explained himself to me. I explained myself to him. And we both talked about it and said to ourselves, you know what? This thing is never going to happen again. And we are working towards that. That is to let you know that effective communication is something that is going to take you time to master. It is something that is going to take you a lot of time to, be really embodied into. So it takes work, it takes self-recognition, it takes being patient, it takes, a lot of effort and consistency to keep it going, because nobody is perfect. Misunderstanding is definitely going to happen, but how do you deal with the misunderstanding? How do you prevent it from escalating? Are you the person that is always about I am right, or are you the person that is always about I have to it's not my fault? Or we need to talk about this thing. We need to remember, in a relationship, it is not about who is right or who is wrong. It is about identifying the problem, talking about the problem, and how to fix the problem. It is about how we hurt each other. Like, this thing you said to me, you shouldn't have said it, regardless of the situation. And you looking like, oh yeah, I think I fucked up. I shouldn't have said this. I am sorry for saying these things, because this thing I said to you hurt you. And me also realizing that this thing I did or this thing I said to you hurt you. I should have said it. And, apologizing for that. That is like effective way of communicating and solving situations. I know there are still some things that you might think it is beyond repair, but trust me, when you communicate with people, you are definitely going to solve a lot of things. You are going to have more peaceful relationship. You're going to have a peaceful home, to be honest, because that person you are communicating with is getting to know you. When we don't communicate, how am I going to know? I can just say things to you jokingly, not knowing it's going to hurt you. But if you don't tell me that this thing I said actually hurt you, how will I know? I would not know. I would just say it out of saying for, maybe I'm joking or just trying to express myself. I'm not going to know. But you need to be able to communicate with me that this thing you said to me hurt me. But one thing I want us to try and do. I know it is not easy. I know it is very, very difficult when it comes to effective communication. Once a problem or an issue has been sorted, let it go. We need to learn to let go. If you don't know how to let go, you will not be able to have effective communication. You cannot say, okay, oh, we have issue last week, we've sorted it last week, and then we have issue again this week. You are not bringing last week issue into this week. No, that is not an effective way to communicate. When last week is gone, it is gone. It has been talked about, it has been sorted, and it is gone. Now we are in today's issue. Let's only talk about today, what happened today, and fix it and let it go. That is the way to have an effective communication. When you are bringing things that has happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you are never going to solve anything. Instead, you'll be aggravating things. You'll be making things worse. You'll be escalating things. And we don't want that. We want an effective way to communicate. Please, this video needs to be shared around to all the men. I want this video to go to men in general, men. And the reason why I'm emphasizing on men is because men are the leaders of the home from an African country. When we are coming from in Africa, we are not doing equality 50-50. No, there's nothing like equality. Men are the head of the family. Men are the leaders, and they lead by example. So you as a man, when you know how to communicate effectively, when you know how to talk to your woman effectively, when you know how to express yourself and things like that, even when that woman is bad in communication, very bad as a communicator, you can teach that woman, you can, help that woman to be a good and effective communicator. But you as a man, when you don't even know how to communicate effectively, it's going to be really, really bad on your relationship. It's going to create a very, very negative impact on your relationship, because it is not easy for a woman trying to tell a man how to communicate or things and that. Majority of the time, especially from our African men, they will think the woman is trying to be controlling. She's trying to tell me what to do and things like that. So it is always good for the man to take the lead, but you have to be able to lead me positively. You cannot be leading me into hell now and expect me to follow you. No. I will talk. That's it. I will definitely talk. So as a man, we want a leader, yes, but we want our man to be able to lead us in the right way. So it is important for you as a man to be able to communicate effectively, because you are leading by example. You are showing that woman the right way to communicate. If you are that man that is used to telling your woman she's stupid, calling her names or lashing out, yelling, insulting her and things like that, that means you are telling that woman that is the right way to go. That is the right way for her to communicate with you. And when that woman is responding back to you in that manner, you guys are telling the children that is the right way to communicate in public, in the society. So as a man, you need to know how to communicate with your woman. And that's going to be all for today. I hope you guys like this video, and I'm sure you guys have picked one or two things from this video, and I hope to see you again next week. But before you go, don't forget to like this video, share this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.